Hey folks, how's it going? Dr. Spin. I got on the showdown post for you guys. Probably the toughest one I've had, not just for this particular tier, but almost the whole season. But only one of them can go on to be in my top 20, so let's figure out which one that's going to be. Whenever you take a look at things like The Cure, Songs for a Lost World, versus Ghost, Skeleta. The Songs from a Lost World is the first album from The Cure in quite a while, and to be honest, I don't have a huge amount of deep experiences with The Cure's music. I know their songs. I've even played some of their songs in cover bands before, but I've never lived with any of their albums. So in a way, this is one of the first albums of The Cure's that I've really sunk into, and I've really, really enjoyed it. I know that some more dedicated Cure fans may have taken exceptions to some of the things in this album, but for me, it's dreamlike atmospheres and ragged edges, form this really beautiful texture that Robert Smith's very distinctive vocals weave its way through the entire time. All that being said, look at this versus this Ghost album. Now look, every time I get into Ghost, I kind of dip my toe in the pool to see what it feels like, and they just drag me in kicking, screaming, because the songcraft that these guys have is just amazing. Throughout Skeleta, song after song after song, there is no missed space. Every single moment seems to be filled with some sort of little melodic content, a riff here, a rhythm there. So there's no dead space in this album. And they frame all that with this sort of kind of nostalgic AOR feel, which I've kind of come to think of as like Bo Burnham Sings for Asia. There is sort of a quality to them that's a little bit almost comedic with how almost saccharine some of their melodies are and how that sort of runs up against its kind of darker imagery that they use. It almost reminds me a little bit of The Darkness from a few years ago when they were kind of taking hair metal and that kind of 80s style and doing it so well you really couldn't tell if they were kidding or not. But whether they're kidding or not, I think Ghost is a masterful work on this album that's very difficult to ignore. So when you look at these two side by side, very difficult, not only because they're both high quality albums, but also because they come from different stylistic backgrounds. But in my opinion, even though as much as I love this Cure album, it's so hard for me to admit this, I've got to go with the Ghost. The songs in this Ghost album haunt me. When I wake up in the morning, I find myself singing them. I find the little hooks in their music rattling around in my brain day after day, minute after minute, and whenever I come to the album, it's not like I'm burned out on it because of this, but I welcome it because it's so well crafted. And it also kind of hits a little bit of a nerve with me because I do have memories of the early 80s and that style of music and, Journey and the things that really defined me in my youth stylistically, musically, that was on the radio. That's an undercurrent here. So I have an extra layer of connection with this beyond just the craft that I see in it. So Skeleta goes on. Agree or disagree? Please sound off below and then head over to my YouTube channel where you'll find more posts on independent artists and classic deep dive reviews.